Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Thank you for taking the time to click on this video and give it a watch. This is my first ever video, so I thought it would be nice to sort of do a little introduction to myself. I've just got a pile of washing to fold, so I thought I'd take the time to sit down and introduce myself and a little bit about my life and sort of what kind of content you can expect from my channel. So my name is Tiffany. I am a stay-at-home mum and I have been for the past about 8.5, coming up to 9 years. I used to work in catering as a catering supervisor at my local national trust and also another country park at the same time. I did do my first year studying to be a paediatric nurse, but I've always known my calling was to be a stay-at-home mum, and nursing isn't the most flexible career to choose if you're going to want to stay at home and then return to a career. So I just decided that it made more sense to focus on the part-time work that I had to make those hours full-time and get some money together before we did start a family. So I currently have 3 children. I have an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. My older 2 are currently at school and my youngest is at home with me. We have decided to not do nursery with our children and just keep them at home until they are compulsory school age. It just felt the most natural thing to do. Those childhood years are so short and I really didn't want to miss out on anything, and I really wanted them to be able to have a slow-paced childhood in their own home environment with their mum, going on outdoor adventures together and doing crafts at home and baking and just really embracing those few years that they have at home before entering the sort of education system, I suppose you would call it. So this channel, I am hoping to share sort of my interests, the things that we get up to as a family, like the adventures that we go on. We have a VW Caravelle that can double up as a camper van, but it's also a really brilliant day van, so we tend to use that as a base for going out places. It's got chairs that can all sort of face into the middle, and there's a table so we can have our picnic in there, we can play games, we can do some drawing, read some books. So yeah, I'm very passionate about VW camper vans, caravels, anything like that is something that I absolutely love. I did have I can't remember, I think it was 1987 T25 when I only had one child. We had to swap that because it could only have the 3-point seat belts in the front 2 seats. You couldn't put a car seat in the back because it was only lap belts. So we did have to sell that, and briefly we bought a 7-seater, which was a really, really great car. I think it was a Citroen C4 Grand Picasso, I think it was. Is that what it was called? I think that's what it was anyway. It was a really fantastic car, but I've just always been enthusiastic about owning a VW van of some sort that we could use as a day van or a camper van. And after having the 7-seater for a while, we did drop on finding a fantastic Caravelle down in Cornwall, which we went on a mad sort of, I think it was like a 36-hour little adventure where we drove down to Cornwall with our 2 girls and picked the van up. Then we stopped off on the way back at Minehead as my parents were already on holiday, and they met with us to sort of look at the van with us and watch the girls whilst we took it for a test drive. And then we went back to their campsite in Minehead, I think it was, and camped basically with no equipment for the first night in the van, which was just probably the best adventure we have ever done as a family. Just a spur of the moment, no planning, not really thinking about it too much. We just went on this crazy adventure to go pick up our camper van, and yeah, that is just such fond memories that we all have of going on that trip. So yeah, the Caravelle, our van, is quite a big part of our life. It's something that I absolutely rave about all the time. I always get asked about it in car parks when they see sort of the seat situation inside. I'm like, oh wow, that's really practical. And I'm like a salesperson for VW, telling them how amazing it is, how useful it is, how much it enhances our life, just having that little safe base. Even just daft things like when you're in the car park, you can open the sliding door so you can park anywhere and still be able to get out with the kids. You can squeeze into all the spaces that no one else can fit in because they can't open their door to get their kids sort of out. So even though it's a bigger vehicle, it's actually way more practical. But yeah, pick the girls up from school, and then I just put them all in the van. It can be raining, throwing it down, windy, freezing. They all climb in the van, we shut the door, and then we take our coats off, put their bags down, get them all fastened in and all settled. And I know that they're all out of the way of the cars, they're all dry, they're all sort of warm and safe. And it honestly just gives me so much peace of mind that wherever I go, if we broke down, if the kids were poorly, or just whatever situation, we would have like a safe base. And that just helps so much with sort of calming my anxiety as a mom. So yeah, the Caravelle is a big part of our life and a base for our adventures. I think I went off on a bit of a tangent there. So yeah, my channel. Other things that I'm really passionate about in my life are being a stay-at-home mom, being outdoors with our children as much as possible. We absolutely love to visit National Trust places. We've ticked off quite a lot now. We usually base our holidays around going to visit National Trust places. So we'll pick an area that's got sort of 2 or 3 locally, and they will be our days out for the holiday. We are National Trust members, so once we've made that payment, it feels like it's free when we go to those places. I know it's not, but you do actually save so much money buying the membership if you are going to go places regularly, because some of the places can be £40 or more for a family, and I wouldn't pay that to go somewhere for a few hours as it is sometimes. But having the membership just means that we can always find somewhere on holiday that has a play area, has a cafe if we needed anything, has toilets if we're on a long journey and we need to break it up and stop off. Yeah, we just find having that membership just so useful. So yeah, being outside as a family is something that's really important. I think it's fantastic for the kids to just have freedom, to be surrounded by the natural elements, to use their imagination, to come up with games to play, to be active, to be moving, and just away from screens and just sitting there and being overstimulated. There's just something so enriching about them being outside. So along with, what have I spoken about so far? Being a stay-at-home mom, sort of homeschooling our children until their school age, being outside, our sort of van life, as you might call it. I'm also really passionate about our family being vegan. It's something I've been vegetarian since I was around 8 years old, and then when I was about, I think it was about 21, just before I got pregnant with my eldest daughter, I watched Cowspiracy, and from watching that I could never ever eat dairy or eggs or just anything that, as I had sort of been informed growing up, was just a byproduct and didn't harm the animals in any way or anything like that. But obviously, increasing my knowledge, I realised that it was quite a cruel industry, the dairy and the egg industry. So yeah, being vegan has been a big part of my life now for almost 10 years now. All 3 of our children we have raised vegan. They're all absolutely thriving. They love the food that we eat. It's something that I feel has instilled like compassion in them towards thinking where our food comes from, what has to happen to animals if you do choose to eat meat or to drink dairy products or to eat eggs. Yeah, that's another big part of our family sort of morals, is being a vegan family as well. So other than being vegan, I'm also passionate about being environmentally friendly. So just silly things like swapping to reusable steel bottles, sort of shampoo bars, Being vegan is obviously far more sustainable than eating meat. We've recently just got a fully electric car for my husband to use for his commutes to work and for taking the girls to their extracurricular activities and things like that. And also over the past few months, I've really been focusing on the whole sort of like low tox, so reducing the toxins in our like toiletries, in like obviously not using plastic water bottles, using glass Tupperware at home. It's an absolute minefield, but it's something that I'm slowly trying to incorporate just little bits into our lives to hopefully just give our children the best chance of living a long and healthy life and avoiding things that might be caused by like a buildup of toxins in their body. And it also sort of goes hand in hand with being more environmentally friendly, because you're not using things with harsh chemicals that are then going into the water system that could be harmful to aquatic life and the local ecosystem. So I feel like all these things sort of go hand in hand with each other. I would say that I don't really like to label, because there's so many different snippets of parenting that we have incorporated, but sort of natural parenting, so trying to use organic cotton wherever in their clothing. I breastfed all three of my children. They've never had a single bottle. We've never used formula. I was fortunate enough to be able to breastfeed three children. My first breastfeeding journey was extremely difficult. My daughter had a tongue tie, and it literally hurt every single time I fed her for at least 4 months. It was agony or painful, but I really persevered. It was something I was so passionate about. And then with my second and third, it was just an absolute breeze. There was no tongue ties or anything like that. So yeah, sort of, I would say natural parenting, being outside, keeping away from screens, reducing the toxins around our home if we can avoid chemical exposure and things like that, all sort of goes hand in hand, I feel, as sort of a holistic approach to parenting. But yeah, it's hard to label yourself, because I like parts of gentle parenting, attachment parenting, natural parenting. There's so many different terms, but I tend to just take the bits which sort of intuitively feel like would be the right thing for our family and our children. But I suppose they're the sort of aspects that we have incorporated whilst raising our children. So they're the kind of things that I'm hoping to share, things that I'm really passionate about, things that I hope could, I don't know, give other families ideas, even just things like days out, on a budget. Obviously, we are a single income household, so budgeting is quite important. I always decided that no matter what, I wanted to stay at home with our children, and managing our money well has been a big factor in that. We don't want the children to go without, but having their mum at home with them was just something that was really, really important to us. So we have had to be a little bit more mindful with our spending and not going on really expensive days out, because often those things don't suit our family. Theme parks and waiting in lines that just don't suit our children. They're much happier to be running around in a field or riding their bikes. But it's things like sharing our days out, or affordable days out that suit 3 children from the ages of 8 to 2. It can be tricky to please all sort of different ages. So I feel like being a mum of 3 is hopefully quite an interesting or helpful thing to be able to watch our videos and see how we make having 3 children work, how we meet each other's needs, and find things that are suitable for all the family, that don't cost a fortune, that align with our sort of values and morals, and just lead for a good day out and lots of happy memories. So hopefully you'll find my content interesting. If there's anything in particular that you would like me to talk about, anything that I've mentioned that you'd like me to talk about more, any ideas for videos where you'd like me to cover sort of certain topics, then go ahead and add that to the comments below. That would be really useful to know what sort of things you are interested in me speaking more about. I hope I've not waffled on too much. I'm absolutely new to this, so this is really just a test run video to try and get used to speaking to a camera and thinking what to say and not talking a load of garbage. So I hope it's been hope it's been useful to sort of get to know me a little bit and the things that are important in my life, and our sort of sharing our parenting journey and our adventures as a family of 3. I hope will be interesting, and yeah, thank you for taking the time to even watch this video. If you could like or subscribe if you think you would be interested in seeing more of my videos, that would obviously be really helpful in helping me to grow this channel and hopefully make something of it. But yeah, thank you again for taking the time to watch my video, and I hope it was of some interest to you. Thank you very much. I hope you're having a wonderful day, evening, morning, afternoon, whatever part of the day you're watching this video in. I hope you're having a great day, and thank you very much for your time.